Welcome to dailyinterviews.com. I'm your host, Larry W. Robinson. Today, I'm talking with Roosevelt Mitchell III. He is an award-winning educator, author, national speaker, and disability activist. Visit disabilityscholar.com for more information about his work. Roosevelt Mitchell III, I'm so excited to talk to you. Welcome to the broadcast, brother.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So I was on your Facebook page. We're friends on Facebook, and I saw this status post that made me stop and inbox you instantly. So I'm going to read it to the listening audience. It says, "You can't get fired from your calling, either which is often tied to your gift. Remember that God doesn't call those who are prepared, but prepares those who he calls. So, what have you been called to do?" And then, of course, you had hashtag gift, hashtag calling, hashtag purpose. So I wanted to talk. Well, first of all, let me get you to explain to the listening audience a little bit about why you were inspired to put that post up, and then we'll announce our topic.
Well, why I was inspired to put that up? Because we live in a society where, under the mantra that easy come, easy go,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that doesn't apply to our gifts, right? Our gifts is what is given to us. Now, our purpose needs spirituality, but we'll get to that later. But our gifts is what is given to us. But a lot of people do not want to do what is easy to them because they think some strange way, easy come, easy go, or they had not figured out a way to monetize, right? So that status was like, once you dive into your purpose and your gift, then people will come to you. Or as the late great Dr. Miles Monroe said, have you ever seen an apple tree go and take apples to people?
Right.
No. Once it grows and bears fruit, people come to it. So once you evolve your gift, then people will come to you, and you will never have to work again.
Right. Love it. Love it. All right. So, what I want to talk about today is how to recognize your gift, understand your calling, and live out your purpose in the earth. Our conversation is brought to you by the assemblyofchampions.com. If you want to learn how to grow spiritually, financially, and mentally, go to assemblyofchampions.com. You're tuned in to gospelinterviews.com. You're actually tuned in to dailyinterviews.com. My guest today, Roosevelt Mitchell III. He is an award-winning educator, author, national speaker, and disability activist. Tell our listening audience what you mean by disability activist.
Well, people call me the disability scholar because I have written a few books that is about disability, and I was born with a disability, and so I'm not just engaged with disability, but I'm married to it because I can't separate my disability from my blackness or my spirituality because I'm
Mm-hmm.
unapologetically Christian, as I say all too often. So I go around and I give speeches about disability and how to overcome it and I also speak to people about the disability mindset because I believe that the biggest disability in life is the I can't do it attitude, right? So,
Mm.
it just one of my gifts or my purpose of being here was to be born with a disability and do the things I'm doing and to serve as a example for people.
So people should use their disability to develop a victim mentality. They can still be victorious in spite of a disability, correct?
Right, because God make no mistakes, God makes no mistakes, and whatever He puts together is a masterpiece, right?
Mm.
So again, so that plays into who I am, my gifts, and my purpose, and me finding out why I was put here and why I was made the way I was. Because I could have easily been made like everyone else, but He had a special plan for me. And once I came to that crossroad in life and figured out, this is my purpose, this is my calling, then it's like things just begin to open up. So that term disability scholar, people have, a lot of people know me by that now, and received a lot of emails about, various topics. In my first book, that a lot of people thought that, called Diary of a Disability Scholar, a lot of people thought that wouldn't sell outside of the state of Missouri that I live in and things like that. But now many universities use it to prepare their future educators for the field of special education. And I also received a letter from Professor Dr. Skip Gates at Harvard, saying that he included my book in the Hutchins African American Research Library at Harvard. Now my grades wasn't even good enough to even go to Harvard, but my book is on the
My
shelf.
book is good. Come on now.
So
Won't he do it?
won't he do it, right?
All right. Talking to Roosevelt Mitchell III. He's an award-winning educator, author, national speaker, and disability activist. You can visit disabilityscholar.com to view more of his work. Our conversation brought to you by theassemblyofchampions.com. I wanted to talk about how to recognize your gift, understand your calling, and live out your purpose in the earth. Do me a favor, tell our listening audience, especially for those that seem like they're walking around the earth aimlessly, just going from opportunity to opportunity. And of course, I'm sure you get floods of email that have these wonderful opportunities that's going to change your life and allow you to live your wildest dreams. And people, you get involved in that, you end up failing because you're not passionate about it. It's not really why you were dropped on the planet to do. How do you filter through all that, and what advice do you have for people that are constantly getting these opportunities in their inbox, face to face, all of that, but it's not connected to their gift, it's not connected to their calling, and it's not connected to their purpose in the earth?
Well, I like to start off with a quote from the great Luther Vandross. All that I can speak for is the things that I've been through, right?
Right.
So my advice is just from my life experiences, and I'll give you an example. When I started playing basketball in the third grade, and ever since I started playing, I always wanted to be a basketball coach. So that was my passion. I thought that's what I was born to do, to be a basketball coach, even when I played. So I became a basketball coach, a junior high coach, a high school coach, and I was very effective, very good at it, won an award, and everything. And then my ultimate goal was always to coach college basketball. My first year coaching college basketball, which was my only year, it didn't feel the way I thought it would feel. I said, wow, I'm finally living out my life's purpose. I'm here now. But I felt empty as I ever had been. And earlier I said that nothing else is required to find your gifts, but spirituality is required to find your life's purpose or your calling. So at that point, I hit a crossroad. I said, I went and I talked to God, and I just started praying that in order to find my calling and my purpose, because I was feeling empty. I felt like I was just living for myself. So I said, my life is too important, it's too precious to live selfishly or to live just for me. So every day, even up until this day, I pray that I can be that I be effective, and I can be an inspiration to not one, not two, but many people. Right? So every day, the things I post or the things I say, it just comes to me because of my spirituality. So I think that has to be intertwined with your calling and your purpose. Your gifts is what come easy. So in that example,
what's the difference between a gift and a talent?
Well, to me, I think they almost one and the same as far as because your gifts just like your talent has to be shaped, honed, right? Like my gift, I think, is my personality and my writing and my communication, which I was confused because as a coach, I thought basketball was it. But once I went back to the drawing board, no, it's my communication, it's my writing, it's my coaching in people. But once I went from the coaching field to being a scholar and writing and becoming effective in a disability field, then it hit me. It's like the sky got bluer, the grass got greener. Mm-hmm. I said, wow, this is what I need to do. But I had to hone and shape that skill. So, a lot of people may have or to give you another example, like, LeBron James and all those guys, they have talents in the basketball realm, right? But they can't do that forever, right, Mr. Robinson? So is that a talent or a gift, right? Because it's a gift and a talent because, they may have been here to do that in the interim, but what are they going to do after that, right? Because that talent leaves. LeBron now, he's 30, he can't jump as high, as he did when he was 18. See, all those talents leave. but your gift never leave, right? And somewhere we born with gifts, but somewhere in this thing called life, we develop a passion for something, which is not necessarily our gift. Again, my passion became basketball to where I was just so locked in on that, and that wasn't it because it was just for me. But once I began again praying differently, and I was planted in the right soil, all of a sudden I
Yeah.
was effective, and I was able to impact more lives.
You know what? How does God give us an inkling of what we're on the planet to do? What are some clues to say, for instance, like I got kicked out of kindergarten for talking and asking questions, and now this is what I do. So I think, yeah, I really think God just kind of said He hits you on the shoulder and say, this is might be what you're supposed to be doing. What are some ways do you believe that God gives us clues as to what our purpose is in the earth?
Well, a lot of times we fight it because if you don't move on life, life has a way of moving on you. Again, you got kicked out of kindergarten for talking, but that was your gift. But you didn't understand it. Your parents probably didn't understand it because of what? The rules. Well, you need
Right.
to be quiet. You need to, I go around and I speak about ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And I tell kids, do you think Kevin Hart was quiet in school? No.
Right.
They made it said that he had ADHD. He was hyperactive. But look, he's making millions doing it, and that's what he was put here to do, be an effective communicator. So I think that once you go back and sit collectively, I think first you need to sit collectively and be still and think about what comes easy to you and what you like to do, right? So you can make an exhaustive list of the things that come easy to you, make an exhaustive list of the things you like to do. Many people go to work a job they hate Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends when they get off, they do whatever comes easy to them, right? I mean, whether it's drawing, whether it's making music, but they never think that they can monetize that, and that's their gift, because we aren't taught to monetize our gifts. We are taught to go get a job or go to work or do something that we don't really love just to pay the bills. So I think the first thing is find out what comes to you naturally,
Mhm.
right? Like for me, I didn't start writing until maybe high school, and I used to write these poems and things, and it came so easy, but everybody loved them. But to me, it was just something I put down because it came so easy. So I had to eradicate the mindset that my gift is supposed to be hard.
Right.
Right. You got to erase that thinking. Your gift isn't supposed to be hard because it's given to you.
Well, it's just like grass doesn't struggle to grow. Apples doesn't struggle to grow on apple trees. Things of that nature. So what you're supposed to do, I think it should just come natural to you. Just as like breathing.
Exactly. But just like breathing, how many times a day, Mr. Robinson, do you think about breathing? You don't even think about it because it comes so easy. You have to remember sometimes, hey, I'm breathing. And you don't understand, right? So that exhaustive list will help you like self critique yourself, like, okay, I can draw easily or I can dance easily. Right. So I think that's the first thing is identifying what you can do. And the second thing is writing it down and figuring out ways how to monetize it, because that gift is what you bring to the table. Another quote Dr. Miles Monroe said about the wealthiest place being in the world is not the oil mines or the oil fields in Iran or Iraq or the diamond mines in South Africa, but the most wealthiest place is a cemetery. And why? There's best-selling books that's never been written. There's Fortune 500 companies that's never been created. It's a wasted talent. So again, with our gifts, it's wasted if you do not use them. So you definitely have to sit back and think about what do you do that comes natural to you.
So you talked about monetizing your gift. How do you break down that mentality for the person that has been trained since they started school, to work hard, get good grades, go get a job, save, retire? How do you break that flow from being, I guess, an employee to being an owner and a creator like our creator?
Well, that's it. Spirituality plays a big difference in it. And the first step is actually realizing that you need to change. So once you realize that, hey, I need to do this. Me, for instance, I never thought that I can get paid for writing. I never thought people would pay me to speak. I talk all the time, but now, I'm able to get a couple thousand or a few $1,000s every time I speak. Or I'm able to, or, people pay me to write, or people, or I ghostwrite for people, or I write books, and, so I never thought that. But once I realized that my gift was in writing,
Mm-hmm.
in order to monetize that, I had to reach out to some people who already got paid for writing or in that field. And because we can only go so far before you need coaching.
Right.
So now I get coached. So now my mentor is Dr. Boyce Watkins. He's one of the big time scholars. So now through his coaching, through his mentoring, I'm able to reach this point. Right? So I never thought that I could monetize it. And some of the conversations he and I had, it kind of, blew my mind. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that I can do it. Like, I didn't know that it came so easy. So now it's like, it's not a job to where I remember I had a state job, man. I hated it. I would go to work, sit in a cubicle, and I just found myself eating all the time. And I was just so frustrated because I was like that apple seed on a piece of concrete. That wasn't where I was supposed to be. But now I'm in this field, it's like I'm flourishing. I get up. I can't wait to get up in the morning. I have to go to sleep. I go to sleep late, and some nights I do not even go to sleep because I'm just up working. And it's like once you in your purpose, that passion kicks in, and your energy takes on a whole new life of its own.
Right. You know what? You said something key about coaching and mentoring. How important is it for a person that they kind of have a clue what they're supposed to do, but they don't have an example around them on how to do what they believe they've been called to do? What can they do to find a mentor or a coach?
Nothing great happens alone. Nothing. Even Michael Jordan had a coach, right? So nothing great happens alone. I don't care how talented you are. Nothing great happens alone. So if you are here and you just know that, okay, my gift is dancing. Well, in order to monetize it, or in order to make a living, you have to reach out to someone in that industry. So if you are a dancer, you reach out to the person or someone you look up to. And it's very easy in today's society as opposed to 20 years ago, because we have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have email, right? And so it's easy to get coaching, but all coaching isn't free. I heard someone say one time, education costs, but it pays for itself. So it's funny because people will spend $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 to get a college degree that's not in their field or is not in their passion or purpose. Yeah. But yet when someone charges $299 or $500 for a seminar that can take you from not making any money writing to monetizing it, the people, they're frown up on it and say, well, I don't want to spend that. But you have to do that. You have to get that coaching. And all coaching isn't free, so you may have to go to seminar, take a class, or hire a personal coach. But that's very important in order to get you to the next level. And once you get to that level, for instance, if you want to be a film director or a play director, you can't go from sitting at home writing your first play to Tyler Perry's level, right? Without hitting other levels in between, right? So you got to get to this level, then pay, go to conferences, learn more things, get to the next level. But you can't get to the pinnacle or even monetize it without getting coaching.
All right. Talking today with Roosevelt Mitchell III. He's an award-winning educator, author, national speaker, and disability activist. Visit disabilityscholar.com to view more of his work. Our conversation brought to you by assemblyofchampions.com. Talking about how to recognize your gift, understand your calling, and live out your purpose in the earth. What's one final thought, piece of advice that you would give to somebody that may or may not know what they've been called to do, but they feel life pushing them, they feel a tug that they were born and created for something greater? What advice do you have them to kickstart them to the life of their dreams?
Well, again, if you don't move on life, life will move on you. I got fired from a job, and I ended up having a master's degree and having a landscape and hold a weed eater, an 8-pound weed eater, carry around and weed eat for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, just to feed my family or support my family. And I hated it. I got up every day. It's nothing like getting hit in the face with a rock at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, right? I absolutely hated it. But a lot of times in life, in order for God to get our attention, he will put you in places of discomfort in order for you to get to that breaking point and to change and shift your mindset to say, hey, it has to be something better. Because in those times of comfort, you will never leave, you will never do anything. So in order for me to take this leap of faith and to get to where I am today, and to even be speaking to you through this interview with Larry Robinson, which is a blessing, I went through a lot of times where life moved on me and made me so uncomfortable and in discomfort that I had to say, hey, it's more to life than this. I am not going to continue to be bullied by life, but I will take control of it. You know, I pray every day. I'm deeper in my faith. I'm fasting, so I'm ready for it. I'm spiritually ready. So I have to move on life. So I'll say just, become confident, pray, listen, and just push forward and just do it. And a lot of times, if you jump off a cliff, I heard someone tell me if you jump off a cliff, God has a way of giving you a safety net. So don't even worry about it. You just walk out on faith.
Right. You know what? As we come to a close, let me just ask this direct question. You know, the scripture says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Is it possible that a person can really live the life of their dreams?
Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. And all things work together for those who.
The Lord and the call of
Yes, sir. All things are possible. All things are possible. If you believe, if you work hard, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started in order to be great. So a lot of times, if God give you those visions right now and you hadn't done anything, it will scare the life out of you. That is disabling, that you won't do anything. So a lot of times you have to get engaged, and he'll give you a glimpse here, and then you keep working. Then he'll make the picture a little clearer. Then you keep working. Then he'll make it a lot clearer to where you finally look back and say, wow, look how far I have come. So you have to get started. You have to get engaged. You have to be committed, and he'll begin to show you those visions.
All right. How to recognize your gift, understand your calling, and live out your purpose in the earth. My guest today, Roosevelt Mitchell III. He is an award-winning educator, author, national speaker, and disability activist. You can visit his website at disabilityscholar.com. What are some resources and tools that we can find at your website, Mr. Mitchell?
Oh, well, you can find all of my books there, listed there, and I have 3 children books. Also, you can find my email address, my phone number if you have any questions about anything, but specifically education. I'm an award-winning educator, so if you have any questions, I would love to connect with you, and you just find my scholarship and my foundation, and it's a lovely site, so please visit.
All right, go to disabilityscholar.com. You've been tuned in to dailyinterviews.com. Brought to you by the great folk over at assemblyofchampions.com. Mr. Roosevelt Mitchell III, thank you for joining me for today's conversation.
I thank you for the opportunity, brother.
All right, and thank you for tuning in. God bless you.